scam alerts to send out the old year and welcome in the new. Hi, I'm Ken Ray, welcoming you into episode 211 of The Checklist, brought to you by SecureMac. Time is of the essence, and life is on the line. Wouldn't it be nice if we all pitched in to help in situations like that? Instead, sadly, we have to watch our backs. We're talking scams today, tied to the COVID-19 vaccine and the holidays. Good tidings, I guess, on this edition of The Checklist, brought to you by SecureMac. I said last week, where the holidays are concerned, we are approaching crunch time. And calendars being what they are, the time has only gotten crunchier. As we record, we're just over 1 week away from Christmas. That pretty much means that everything that happens from here on in, as far as Christmas is concerned, is last minute. And that is when we fall prey to bad guys. Are you expecting a package? Is there a surprise package you didn't expect? Ooh, very exciting! Or are you just about to get snared in a scam? Here to help us avoid that last one is SecureMac's Nick Leone. It's very good to have you back, sir.
It's nice to be here, sir.
So you've been looking into a few package delivery scams and ways to avoid them. These are the kinds of things that we should be aware of all year long, but now is a particularly bad time for this kind of thing, right? Yeah.
And because the pandemic drove like a record number of people online for shopping this year instead of to stores, pretty much everyone right now is waiting around for those packages to be delivered. And of course, the bad guys know this and they're taking advantage of it. And they're doing it in a number of ways, but I guess there's 4 big ones we should watch out for.
Holy cow, that sounds like a checklist. Man, we love those on the checklist. Let's do it. Item 1, and I know we've talked about this off and on for years on this show, phishing emails.
Right. And, of course, you have to worry about phishing emails all the time. But phishing emails running delivery scams are particularly bad at this time of year. Bad guys will send out phishing emails at random. But since so many people use the same delivery services and shopping platforms, there's a pretty good chance that those emails are going to find their way to at least some people who really do have current Amazon orders or who are expecting a FedEx delivery. And so what the scammers will do is they'll claim, they're from the shopping platform or from the delivery company. And they'll say, oh, hey, there's an issue with your order. Or, oh, sorry, we're having a problem delivering your package.
Okay. And my assumption is, the concern here is that we're going to give away personal information. At least that was my assumption. Although looking through your notes, there are more things to worry about than just that.
That's right. I mean, like a lot of times they really are just trying to get personal info out of you. But phishing emails can include attachments with a malware payload, might be links to malicious sites, or they might redirect you to a fake website that will try to trick you into handing over credit card details or some of that personal info, some of that sensitive data.
Okay, what's cool about this one, though, is, these are things that we have covered for years. We've talked for years about avoiding phishing emails. Hopefully, on some level anyway, we're ready for this one.
Yeah. It's a lot of the usual stuff that you need to watch out for, right? There's a lot of those classic tells of a phishing email, or just a couple of them. Like if it uses poor spelling and grammar, stuff you'd never, ever see in a legit email from a big company, that's pretty much a dead giveaway. If it comes from like an obviously fake domain, I don't know, like FedEx123.info.ru or something, like probably not the real deal. Or if there's, an exaggerated sense of urgency, like warning, all caps, like act now or your order will be canceled. Real companies generally aren't going to try to freak out or scare their customers, right? So if you see that kind of alarmist tone in an email, this is a pretty decent sign something may be wrong. But still, like, that's kind of the amateur hour phishing emails. Some phishing emails are actually pretty convincing. And over on the SecureMac blog, we actually talked to like one of the world's foremost social engineering experts. And he said, yeah, I fell for a phishing email. So it can absolutely happen to anyone, right? Don't be too confident in your ability to spot a fake. Some of the fakes are actually really good. And the safest thing to do in general is just never click on a link in an email that's claiming that there's a delivery or an order issue. So instead, you just want to go to the website of the company on your own, navigate there in your web browser, log into your account area, enter your tracking number directly, do whatever you have to do to check things out. And if there is really a problem, you'll be able to see it there.
Next item on the list, the next package delivery scam, that is, involves text messages.
Right. You're looking here at the same kind of stuff from email scams, but on your phone or on whatever you use for messaging. So just be really careful when you're dealing with texts that say there's an issue with your order, an issue with your delivery, and especially if you're being asked to click on a link or download something. Just to give you one example of what that might look like, last week in Ireland, the police there were warning people about these scam text messages that a lot of folks were getting. And so, it's Ireland, right? So a smaller country, an island. I'm guessing they probably get a lot of stuff shipping in from outside of the country. And so what these texts would say is they'd claim that people's packages couldn't be delivered due to unpaid customs fees. And the messages would contain a link to a fake web page that would request credit card details so that you could, quote unquote, pay the customs fees. But of course, it was just a scam. Like if you entered your credit card number, the bad guys would just get your credit card number.
I got to figure that one of the things that makes a text scam trickier, I mean, like I said earlier, we've been talking about phishing emails forever. I probably got my first phishing email in the late 90s or early 2000s. It doesn't happen as much with text. Plus, I mean, texts are more intimate and they tend to be more immediate as well. Yeah.
But the dangers and the ways to avoid them are similar. So just as with emails, don't click on any link that comes in via SMS or a messenger app, and be skeptical of those messages when they arrive. Right? You can check out potential problems with a delivery, with an order, just by going to the company's website directly and investigating it for yourself. And if you have a bunch of package deliveries that you're expecting and you want to receive mobile notifications, you can always just install the company's app on your device and connect it to your account or load it up with the tracking numbers or whatever. And so that would be a safe way to get up to the minute mobile notifications about deliveries you're expecting.
Now, a lot of people are going to be surprised to find that this next one is actually still a thing, but apparently people are using voice calls. Am I saying that right? Voice calls? That's a thing that I know people used to do. People are actually using voice calls as scams.
I mean, this is something, I think you've talked about this on the checklist before with respect to tax scams, right? Like every April, May, June, you get scammers trying to steal personal information over the phone, saying there's an issue with your tax refund or whatever. And around the holidays, the bad guys use phone and voicemails to do delivery scams as well. And so the way it works is you'll either get a phone call from a scammer or you'll get a voicemail saying that there's a delivery issue, there's a problem, and they'll leave you a callback number. And if you call it back, you're supposed to be able to get more information or fix the issue or whatever.
Okay, so I know what to do with this one. Don't call back.
Yes. Bingo.
Okay,
absolutely.
Thank you.
And for a couple of reasons, right? So, first of all, there are going to be these run-of-the-mill voice phishing scams, like you call them back and now you're talking to a fake company employee who's trying to get you to, reconfirm your credit card number, right? So they can steal it or whatever. But also the FCC has been warning people that some of these callback numbers that the scammers are leaving are actually international numbers. And so what they'll do is they use an international number from a country with a 3-digit country code. I suppose so that they look more like a domestic U.S. number, right? Like you see this number, you don't recognize the area code, but it doesn't look, weird or off to you. It just looks like, oh, maybe that's someplace in Ohio or some new area code that I don't know about or something. But if you call one of these numbers back, it's actually an international number. So you might get hit with high connection fees or high permanent charges.
All right. So I haven't looked ahead yet. I'm just guessing here. What you do is you don't enter a number you don't recognize. If you're worried that, there really is a problem, don't call the number left in the voicemail. You look up the company's contact information on the company's actual website and contact them that way. These are my guesses. How did I do?
Pretty well, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty much what I'd say. And if you do pick up the phone, if you do answer and someone's telling you, hey, there's a problem, you don't need to engage them. Just, thank them for their concern. Tell them, oh, hey, I can't talk right now, but I'll check it out myself. Thanks a lot. And, if that caller doesn't take no for an answer, if they're like, no, you have to handle this with me right now, just hang up, because that's a clear sign you're talking to a scammer. I promise you that UPS guy isn't desperate to talk to you, right? So the big thing here is, like you said, don't use any contact number that the caller gives you, because how easy is it to set up a fake phone number and answer it yourself, right? And for the same reason, don't use the callback numbers that you get in those voicemails, or for that matter, in an email or a text, right? Kind of looking back to what we already talked about. So don't do that. Instead, just use the main customer service number for that company. Call, ask for a status update on your order, your delivery, using an order number, tracking number, whatever you have in the confirmation email, whatever you have written down. And you can check things out that way.
Yeah, personally, I say don't answer the phone. But, that's been my credo for more years than I should admit, I suppose. Now, this last one, the last item on the checklist, I hate to say that a scam is neat, but this one's kind of neat. Talk to me about the fake missed delivery tags.
Yeah, this one is sneaky. This was a new one to me. So the FCC says that scammers, in some cases, are now using physical tactics. And what they'll do is they'll leave these fake missed delivery tags on people's doors. And they'll include a callback number, which of course is fake. And so if you get one of these things on your door and you call that number back, you're going to be talking to a scammer. And the scammer is then going to try to trick you into, whatever, paying a fraudulent fee or giving away your credit card info, or, telling them something else that you shouldn't really be telling them.
And of course, for this one, you do the same stuff that you would do for the rest of them.
Yes, with one big difference in light of COVID. Seriously, wash your hands if you've handled that delivery tag. You do not know who's been touching it. And, in the case of scammers, odds are people who make a living trying to scam other people out of their money aren't like the most conscientious bunch. But after that, as far as the security threat goes, yeah, you're right. It's the same as the rest of the scams, just like with an email, with a text, with a phone call. Don't call the number on that slip. Go to the company's website directly. Check things out for yourself. Do whatever you have to do.
Really quickly. Also, make sure you're actually going to the company's website. If there's a special, go to this website on that, delivery slip. It's the same as the fake phone number. I mean, go to FedEx's actual website, not FedEx 123, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just do a web search using DuckDuckGo or Google, whatever you use, and you should be able to find it, no problem, right?
Yeah.
So go to that website, check things out for yourself. If you've got an app, log into your app. If you've got an account, log into your account area. If it's a post office notice, call your local post office using their publicly listed number. Say, hey, are you guys trying to deliver a package to me? So all of that stuff should keep you safe. And I'd say there's just a couple other things we should probably ask people listening to this show to do. So first of all, if you know how to avoid these scams, that's awesome. But a lot of people don't. So take a second to share this information with them, either by talking to them about it, giving them a heads up the next day or two, the next time you talk to them, or just by sharing this podcast. And secondly, take a minute I know it sounds funny, but to help the big companies, to help the big delivery companies, the big telecoms, the e-commerce platforms to fight back against these scammers, right? By reporting these scams when you see them. Because this will help them shut down the scams early and stop them from spreading so they don't affect as many people. In the US, if you get a suspicious text, you can just forward it to 7726, which spells spam, right? And that instantly reports it to your cellular carrier. Works for every carrier. If you get like a phony email claiming to be from DHL, FedEx, UPS, whatever, just use their reporting tool. They all have one to let them know about it. If you don't know what that is, just do a quick web search for FedEx report scam, and you'll find the portal or the email address or whatever. And the USPS also has a reporting tool where you can tell them about the scams. We can include that in the show notes. But I mean, I think, anything to do with mail fraud is like a federal offense, so they take it pretty seriously.
We'll get to the vaccine scams in a moment, but first a word about MacScan 3 from SecureMac. Chances are you're doing more with your computer today than you were this time last year, certainly. thanks to all the social distancing, the working from home, the schooling at home. It's not that you're doing anything risky with your computer, but if you're not protected by a good anti-malware suite, you're running an unnecessary risk. Stop that with MacScan 3. MacScan 3 is a great defense against malicious software attacks aimed at your Mac. It's developed by SecureMac, trusted names in computer security and developers of exceptional security software for the Mac for over 20 years. MacScan 3 detects and removes Mac malware, catches keyloggers, removes tracking cookies, and provides full-range or targeted scanning, all without crowding up your hard drive or slowing down your machine. Sign up for a free 30-day trial today at securemac.com/MacScan. Then once you decide to buy for less. You can take a little off your subscription to MacScan 3 with offer code CHECKLIST. Try it first. Watch it kick those tracking cookies to the curb. Then when you're ready to buy for less with offer code CHECKLIST at securemac.com/MacScan. So everything we talked about regarding package scams, multiply that by the pandemic. News has been huge of late of various vaccines being developed and released. You've probably seen pictures or video of the first recipients getting their injections. Maybe you want the vaccine ASAP. Certainly bad guys hope so. A piece I saw from CNN says several government organizations have warned against scammers promising access to the vaccine in exchange for sensitive personal information, as well as companies selling bogus treatments promising to cure or prevent COVID-19. The FBI told CNN that it has received complaints of scammers using the public's interest in COVID-19 vaccines to obtain personally identifiable information and monies through various schemes. The Better Business Bureau actually has recommendations for avoiding these scams. Among them, talk to your doctor about the vaccine, not some random person on the phone. Double-check any information you receive with information from credible news sources. In other words, Facebook and Twitter posts are not how to plan your medical future. And finally, ignore calls requesting immediate action. If you know about the vaccine, you know that supply is going to be scarce for a while. The Better Business Bureau says scammers will try to get you to make a decision right on the spot. They'll tell you if you don't act today that you'll lose the opportunity. You'll be asked to make a decision before you have time to think about it. And that would be the ball game. Kind of stinks, but we're going to have to be patient. Talk to your doctor. Keep an eye on reputable news sources. I mean, newspapers and actual news organizations, not social media posts and YouTube videos. In the meantime, stay in when you can, mask up when you go out, and wash your hands. Hey, if you're looking for more security news and how-tos, the place to look is securemac.com/checklist. There you'll find notes for this show, for the last show that we did, for the one before that. You know what? Heck, they're all up there. It all starts in one place, securemac.com/checklist. If you enjoy the checklist, would you let people know about it? Tell friends, or maybe leave us a review wherever you're subscribed to this show. If you have a question you would like to ask or a topic you would like to hear us hit, our email address is checklist@securemac.com. That address again is checklist@securemac.com. And if you can't remember that, please do remember this. You're listening to The Checklist, brought to you by SecureMac. And we'll talk to you next week.